Hey everyone, welcome to Pulling Threads. Today we're going to talk about breakups, especially for those of us who have previous trauma. So if you've ever wondered why a breakup can feel like someone just yanked the floor out from under you, even when the relationship was short, it was really messy, it was clearly not your forever home, but why does it feel 10 times worse when you carry past breakups, childhood trauma wounds, or any past trauma? I'm Leslie, therapist, coach, and the host of Pulling Threads. Today we're going to dive into the brain science, the trauma, the dynamics, some human design and astrology, real-world coping skills that turn heartbreak into a healing portal. Grab your tea, get comfy, and let's untangle this together. First off, I'm going to tell a little story because I have learned one lesson about breakups. This lesson happens when they are not permanent. Also, it's a lesson of things aren't always what they seem. A little over a year and a half ago, March 2024, my then boyfriend and I decided that we needed to take a break. We thought it was a permanent break. We both needed 5 days to have some space and work on ourselves, and then ultimately decided that we did not want to be broken up. However, in that very short window, I was sharing lots of things that make us feel better in the Loom life, which is what I love to do. But I got on my social media, I believe it was a story. I was all fixed up. I was going to go out, and I went on about all of the grounding techniques and cold plunging and sauna and exercise, and look at me, like, I'm heartbroken, but look how good I am. First of all, that wasn't true. I wasn't okay. I wasn't happy. I was terribly heartbroken. And I was putting on this facade for social media and for the world to pretend, both for myself and others, that I could do this. I could do this because I can get through anything. And what I was really feeling inside was complete devastation. At that point, our relationship was under a year, and we had a bond, and I was in so much pain. A few lessons. Number one, things might not be what they seem. If you see your partner or ex-partner out in the world looking seemingly healthy and unbothered, that might not be what's really going on. Number two, I don't recommend going on social media and declaring anything, because when I did, it was really out of character for me. People are like, "Are you okay?" We did work things out within 5 days. Then it was a little embarrassing. Like, I declared myself single again, and then had to backtrack with people when they were like, "Are you guys together?" The other thing is that even after we got back together, someone pointed out that video to my partner, and that was really hurtful for him, because he said, "I thought you were hurt. I thought you were missing me, and you look fine in this video." It wasn't authentic. Like, it wasn't how I really felt. So why was I putting myself out there like that? I don't think that was helpful to anyone, to see me pretending that I was okay. And if the point is to help people who are suffering and struggling with heartbreak, the last thing they want to do is see me all dolled up and ready to go out and saying, "Look, if you're strong, you're going to work through this and use all of these strategies." That was not helpful. I was suffering and I was struggling. I want to talk about the ins and outs of what's going on when we have a breakup and why it hurts so much, even if it's not a long relationship. Breakups are an attachment injury. Your brain doesn't care how casual the label was, or if there even was a label. Neurons are still wired together. Oxytocin was released, dopamine, serotonin. That cocktail disappears overnight, and your nervous system goes into withdrawal. Yes, withdrawal from the person, withdrawal from the relationship. Those three neurochemicals are extremely powerful and addictive, and they make us feel good. That's why relationships feel so good. Also, we wrap our identity up in relationships. We entangle ourselves with each other. And when we merge lives, we merge ourselves, the split feels like we're losing a piece of who we are. I know we're separate. I know we aren't becoming one when we're in a relationship with someone, but we are merging parts of ourselves. So losing a piece of who we are or who we thought we were going to become with that person is really painful. The other thing that a lot of people experience is fantasy grief. Sometimes we're mourning the potential of that relationship and the potential of the merger more than we are the actual person. So maybe there was a future house, future vacations, babies, puppies. Anything that you planned to do together in the future is gone. And that's real grief. Fantasy grief means you grieve the fantasy that you had about the future you thought you were going to have with that person. So this is all amplified and worsened when we have a history of trauma, which, let's face it, most people do. And certainly many of us have trauma around past relationships, even if they were just high school relationships. We have old wounds and there's a new trigger. That trigger sets off our abandonment wounds, rejection wounds, feelings of unworthiness. Breakups poke these wounds like poking a bruise, okay? It's painful. The other thing is our attachment style can really play into how much we are impacted by the breakup. So if you are an anxious attachment style, you're probably going to experience panic and maybe obsession. My attachment style was definitely anxious in previous relationships, and I definitely have had that sense of panic and obsession, and I literally get heartache, but it's also tension in my chest when there's even a chance of a breakup. I feel it. If we have an avoidant attachment style, we are more likely to feel numb or shut down. If we have a disorganized attachment style, it might be a roller coaster of both of those things. So one day we may feel one way, 1 hour we might feel one way, and the next hour we feel something else. The other issue to take into consideration is if you have any emotional regulation issues, if your childhood taught you to freeze or to people please, then the nervous system may default to either melting down or numbing out, depending on your nervous system. Someone else's nervous system is going to be doing something else. So we want to try to not judge ourselves and be overly concerned with how our ex-partner is handling things. Their consideration to take in is what I'm going to call them sex-based biochemical differences, okay? Meaning male and female differences. So oxytocin gives you a flood after sex. It's often stronger in women than in men versus a dopamine surge, which is often stronger in men. We have different withdrawal curves based on our sex. Also, social conditioning for women, we're encouraged to be sad and take time to go through our emotions, whereas men are taught to move on. We are all designed differently. So we can't always expect our friends, our family members, our ex-partner, our new partner these people are all going to have different paths to dealing with and healing from the breakup, including different periods of time some people need. Some people need years, some people need months, and some people need days. The bottom line is to stop comparing timelines. Your grief curve is a fingerprint. It's not linear. It's not like anyone else's. It's all yours. So if you find yourself comparing, please try to stop doing that. Let's talk a little bit more about the actual stages. Just like stages of grief, there are possible stages of breakups that you're going to go through. First, you might be in shock or denial. Your brain might resist the loss at first. Maybe they'll come back. I hear a lot of people say things like, if my boyfriend has an avoidant attachment style, and avoidants usually come back, like how long do I need to wait? Or how long do you think it'll take him to come back? It's true that people with an avoidant attachment style do frequently circle back, but if they're going to circle back and break up with you again, that's not great. If you're in denial about the breakup, one thing you could do is a lot of breath work, because you want to tell your nervous system that you're okay and that it's okay to move on. So really anchoring in your body, like breathing, moving, resting. And the hardest part, trying to avoid that impulsive contact. So the drunk text or any text is really difficult. The next phase might be pain, or it might be obsession. So that might look like you're going to replay everything, idealize them, crave contact. Also, a miserable part of this process, and the craving, regardless of what type of relationship it was, but especially if it was a relationship where there was a lot of ups and downs or a lot of mean nice. Your nervous system got used to that dopamine hit when they would reach back out or you would make up. It's going to really crave any contact with them. So understanding that's part of a biological response, I think, is helpful. It definitely helped me at the end of my marriage, even though I knew we were both going to be much happier and better off. I would crave any contact with him. It helped me to understand that it was almost like a craving and not much of a real desire. Coping with this can be like writing the truth of the relationship, making a list of red flags or things that didn't work, and why creating a no contact plan and sticking to it. That's really hard. But the less contact you have, the more quickly you're probably going to be able to move on. What I'm going to call phase 3 is more like anger and resentment. You might realize how much you gave in the relationship and how much you didn't get back. You might realize, this is when you're going to realize that it's really over and that it's not going to work out, or they're not coming back, or even if they do, you're better being without them. So in this part, I think it's important to let it move through you. Let yourself feel all those intense feelings of anger instead of trying to convince yourself that you're not angry. Even if you were partially to blame, there can be resentment that you need to let go of. You could write a letter to them that you don't intend on sending. Some people call it a rage letter. And then you could burn it. But I find the best thing is really allowing, I might listen to really loud music or scream in the car or journaling about how angry you are. But then most important is moving your body. So exercise and the neurochemicals that are released when you exercise are really helpful here, okay? The next phase might be, and remember these are not linear, so they can all come in different points, but sadness and grief. There may be very big waves of missing, of mourning, of that identity loss we talked about earlier. It's important to let yourself feel all of that and cry and journal. Reach out to friends who are safe to talk to, maybe a therapist, And if you practice mindfulness, sitting with the emotion you're feeling without judging yourself for feeling the emotion is helpful. There are some great online meditations here on YouTube that you can use specifically to help you sit with certain emotions. So I highly recommend that. Finally, we get through acceptance and integration, how you're going to integrate this into your life. You start to see clearly that you're better off. You get moments of peace again. Hopefully in this phase, you can create rituals to reclaim yourself. Maybe you cut cords or do that burning thing where you make a list of all the things that didn't go well and burn them. One thing, I think cleaning your space and decluttering and trying new fun like activities is really helpful. One thing I did a long time ago, after a breakup or after I stopped seeing someone, I would write down all of the things that I really liked about that relationship and all of the things I never wanted to experience again. I was essentially creating rules or boundaries for the future. These are the things that this person nailed, right? Like the sex was amazing, or they always got the door for me. So those are things that in my future partners, I always want that. And then there might be deal breakers, like the person ate with their mouth open. No, not doing that. I'm never doing that again. Or maybe they were a poor communicator. I really like a good morning and a good evening text and some texts throughout the day, and they never text anything. Like whatever it is about the person that really bothered you, write that down. Make 2 lists, because that could be really helpful as you get back into the dating world. Another thing I want to talk about are, I'm going to call them post-breakup minefields. What is this? It's when something inevitably happens after your breakup that's going to sting, burn, or shoot daggers in your heart, and there's nothing you can do about it. These are inevitable things. You might be able to keep yourself from knowing about them, but they're going to happen. Item number 1. They move on before you, right? It stings even though you're healing, even though you are doing so much better. You may feel replaced, which is one of the worst parts about breakups, divorce, and any kind of breakup. We do not want to be replaced as humans. We don't want to feel replaceable. So they've moved on. They're already seeing someone else. You may feel replaced, discarded, or betrayed, even though you've already broken up. Let's try to reframe that. What they do after your breakup is not a measure of your worth. Some people jump into distractions to avoid their own pain. It's not a race. Some people also jump in before they've given themselves time to heal and ruin what might have been a great other relationship. They might also jump into a relationship with someone just like you who's going to end the same way. Another is the urge to stalk them. I'm guilty of this from my college days. There are dopamine spikes when you check past partners' social media, and it's very addictive. But it also does delay your healing. So try to mute them or block them. You could use a stalking blocker accountability buddy if you have a friend who's up for that. And then ask yourself, what am I hoping to find on their account? And what will it actually do to me if I find that? Because the truth is, at some point, you're going to see evidence that they are either going on vacation with friends or dating someone else. And that's not going to feel good. So let's avoid doing things that make us feel worse when we don't need to. Another thing could be when friends or family take their side. We all have partners who have become friends with our friends. That's going to feel like betrayal, big time. that partner might have came with friends and you became friends with them. And now, they're sticking with their original person, which makes total sense. It still feels like betrayal and it still feels yuck. Let yourself grieve all those secondary losses that we have when we have a breakup. And choose to connect with the people who matter in your life. Choose connection over explanation. Don't waste energy justifying your pain. Just grieve the loss, accept the loss of the secondary people that go with the partner, and remind yourself to connect even more with the people who are your people. I think the biggest thing that I would call a minefield after is really when they act like they're fine and you're not fine. Remember, healing isn't linear, meaning everyone's healing isn't like this, right? And your healing is going to look different than their healing, and fine is often a mask for someone who's also struggling. Focus on the long game. You're not just getting over them, you're becoming more of you. There's potential for you to, after healing from this, find someone even better, someone who meets all the requirements on your list from the things you loved about that person. And do not have, this is a time to really work on yourself and a good time to initiate like reparenting yourself and healing yourself because you're cracked wide open. You're going to need to give your inner child comfort and be stable and loving towards yourself. It's really important and really hard. But you can learn the patterns that you have during breakups and try not to repeat them. Learn from them, learn what to do in the future, and ultimately you can use this as a portal to becoming more authentic and gaining more clarity about the kind of partners that you want. And really great time to work on setting better boundaries. I'm going to put a book about boundaries in the show notes that I love. Phenomenal book about boundaries. So let's talk about a quick fix for when you are lit up after a breakup. Some grounding practices. Number 1, name 5 things around you right now. So if you are lit up and you're feeling the urge to call them or to text them, try to get presence, meaning try to be in the present moment. Name 5 things around you right now. I like taking it a step further and naming 5 things you hear, 5 things you smell or taste, and 5 things that you could touch right now in your immediate vicinity. My favorite grounding exercise, putting your hand on your heart and saying, I am safe, I am healing, and I am home. Remember that deep breathing and focusing on our breath signifies to our amygdala, our fight or flight center, that we're safe. So if we can breathe and focus on our breath, then we're telling our body, I'm safe. And it helps calm us down. Another thing that you can do is move your body for 20 minutes every day. Go for a walk, do yoga, shake it out, whatever it is that helps you, do that. And then try making a breakup song list. Some people make playlists. Maybe make 2. One for crying, like a playlist where you want to make yourself cry, and one for rising. I struggle here because I tend to have playlists of love songs that are all really positive, like about a man who's in love with his woman. And that makes me cry. What I want in a relationship, if my relationship was over, it would be really hard for me to listen to that one. I might want one that's like a man hater list, maybe. I hope this helps. Breakups don't mean you're broken. They mean something is shifting. Sometimes the ache is the space where a new, more aligned version of you is going to begin. And that is forming. If you're in the thick of this right now, you're not alone. You are healing, even if it hurts and you wish that part could end. It will soon, and you will be better on the other side of this healing. The breakup happened for a reason, and I would like to think that if I go through a breakup in the future, I will look at my relationship and appreciate what it gave me and the time that I had with that person. While I know that I will go through all of the things that I just discussed, and there would be extreme heartbreak and longing for that person, I really hope I would think about all the wonderful things that happened in that time frame and understand that relationships don't all last forever, but be grateful for the time that I had when that relationship was good. I think that's easier said than done, but that's how I hope it would work out and play out if that were to be in my future. Take care. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Pulling Threads and that it's helpful for some of the people listening out there. Thank you. Please subscribe, follow, do all the things, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Cut and cut.